Testing. Can anyone hear me? I can't hear you guys.
What are these days?
Yes, I'm here and I can hear
Hi,
you.
this
Yes.
is Bonnie. I can hear you.
Are you them?
Yes, we can hear you, or I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Which day you doing these? You remember offering?
Yes, I can see Sandra. I don't see Wilma. Oh, yes, I see Wilma.
I was just hiding.
Okay. Okay, it is 4 minutes after 3. So we are going to get started. 1 minute. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the City of Tamarac's Purchase Assistance Information Session. Today, we're going to give you some details about our program and participating in the program. We also have several guests from agencies throughout the county that is going to also provide you with some very important information. All right, next slide, Cassie. All right, your housing division staff today that is here to answer your questions, to facilitate this workshop. Myself, I am Carolyn Francis Royer. I'm the housing manager here in the city of Tamarack. And my staff today is Nicola Lewis, Shakivia Smith, Marcia Oban, and Cassie Gustav. We are your housing team, and we are here for you. And on behalf of the City Commission, I would like to thank thank all of you for your interest in the City of Tamarack, and Mayor Michelle Gomez, Vice Mayor Gellin, and Commissioner Bolton, Villalobos, and Placo all would like to say thank you. All right, next slide. This purchase assistance program, we do an open enrollment every year. This year, the opening day is Monday, April 18th. And funds will be available for approximately 15 to 20 purchasers in the city of Tamarack. So funds are available until they're exhausted, because our program operates on a first ready, first served basis. It's a little different than it has been in the past, but we are here to answer any questions and clarify anything that we are going to present to you today. All right, and so Nicola is going to present some of the very important details of our program, and feel free to ask questions when you get a chance. You're going to have to type the questions into the chat because we have a lot of participants today. So we do anticipate getting a lot of questions, and we'll also share the questions and answers with everyone. Next slide. All right, Nicola, take it away.
As Carolyn mentioned, there's a few key changes to our program this year, and as we're going through, I'll highlight some of those major changes to the program. First of all, let's define who is a first-time home buyer, and that's anyone who has not owned a home in the past 3 years. Actually, it's anyone and their spouse who has not owned a home in the past 3 years is considered a first-time home buyer. One of the major changes of our program this year is how we process applications. As Carolyn said, first come, first ready. And one of the items that you will need to be ready for this program is that you must be under contract. So you must have a fully executed and accepted sales contract, purchase and sales contract. So applicants will be processed only if they have that sales contract and their approval from their lenders. The second thing is you can purchase a single family home, a townhome, condominium in the city of Tamarack. The minimum amount that the applicant needs to contribute to the program is 1%. So it's 1% of the purchase price of the home. So you see our example there. You'll be required to put down at least 1%. There are some other criteria, but we'll cover those later on. The other major information about the program is that it must be your primary residence, and there will be a 15-year agreement tied to that assistance. So you will live in that property for 15 years. If you rent the property or sell the property before the end of that 15-year term, you will be required to repay some or all of that funding. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, these are our income guidelines, our eligibility guidelines as far as income. And keep in mind that these are scheduled to change this coming April. Typically, HUD puts out new guidelines this year. We don't know if they're going to go up or down, but keep in mind that these guidelines show the maximum income for each household size. So across the top, you'll see the household sizes, and in the rows below that, you'll see the various thresholds for the various income sizes. Next slide. Okay, another key change to the program is our maximum award. This year it will be tiered. So for folks who fall into the very low income category and extremely low income category, they will be able to receive up to 60,000. For those in the low income category, they'll receive up to 50,000, and the moderate income category will receive up to 40. So that's another major change for our program. I'm sure everyone should be excited about that. Next slide. The maximum purchase price, this is determined by HUD, and this year that's $352,371. So the home that you intend to purchase cannot exceed that price. So that's very important to keep in mind and to consider when you're shopping for a home. Next slide, Cassie.
And I would just like to add that the maximum purchase price is established because of affordability. Anything beyond that may not be affordable for the income categories that we're trying to serve. So that's the reasoning behind that.
Okay. Another major change to our program this year is that applicants whose monetary assets exceed 25,000 will be required to contribute at least a third of those funds towards the purchase. So that's another major thing to keep in mind. Of course, if these are funds that are held in a retirement fund, then of course that fund would not be considered a monetary asset. Okay, and I'll turn it over to Shakivia.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Shakivia Smith, and I'm a housing coordinator with the City of Tamarack, and I'll be going over our application process. So when you initially apply for the program, you'll be placed on a waiting list. And the open enrollment is Monday, April 18th. And our program is first ready, first served. We only have funds for about 16 applicants. And in order to be first ready, first served, you have to upload all the required documents on the documents list. And among those documents is the certificate for the HUD certified 8-hour class. You need a mortgage pre-approval letter from a financial institution. And you also must be under contract. After that, once you have everything ready, you'll contact the housing division, upload instructions. Next slide. Just keep in mind that our income certification process takes about 3 to 4 weeks. So if you are currently under contract, then you want to keep that time frame in mind because it may delay your closing. All right, once you are approved for the program, which we call income certified, then we will be able to provide the funds for you for your closing. We'll coordinate with the lender, and we'll also coordinate with the title company to wire the funds. Once the funds are exhausted, the program will close. And if your name or you didn't get a chance to receive funding, then we'll send you an email letting you know that the program is closed. Next slide. The loan terms. Okay, so this is a 15-year deferred loan. And what that means is you are not required to make any payments on this loan as long as you remain in the property for 15 years. If you sell the property or rent the property out, then the money that the city lent then becomes due. Okay, and after the 14th year, the loan is forgiven. I'm sorry, the 15th year. I'm sorry, the 15th year, the loan is forgiven. At the 14th year is forgiven by 50%.
Great.
Next slide. Okay, if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat.
And we will try to answer everybody's question, but I see there's already over 400 folks that are in attendance. So just keep that in mind. But even if we don't answer your question during the session, we will definitely answer your question after. All right, next slide, Cassie. All right, and now you're going to get some fair housing information from Hope Incorporated. Go ahead, Charmaine.
All right, thank you. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I know there was a bit of issues earlier, a lot of people in the Q&A saying that they couldn't hear, so hopefully everyone can hear me well. Good afternoon. My name is Charmaine Williams. I work for an organization called Hope Inc. We are a nonprofit fair housing center, and we deal with housing discrimination complaints and issues. Next slide, please. We've been in business since 1988. We cover both Dade and Broward counties. Our mission is to fight housing discrimination in both counties and to ensure equal housing opportunities throughout the state of Florida. We operate on what we call our three-tier system. First tier is education and outreach. That's what this is. Our second tier is intake and counseling. So if someone feels that they have been discriminated against, they would call our office and we would do an intake. And our last tier is enforcement, which means, you know, if we find proof that there has been discrimination, you know, attorneys get involved, the courts get involved, and the housing provider does get in trouble for actually doing the discriminatory practices. Next slide, please. So we test, or we do investigations when we can on realtors, lenders, apartment complexes, different types of housing providers, and we are always looking for testers. So you can contact our testing coordinators. The information is on your screen if you'd like to sign up to become a tester. Send them an email. They will answer any questions that you have regarding testing. Let you know what paperwork you need to fill out, when the next tester training is going to be, and how much you would get paid per test. Okay, so just ask them whatever questions that you may have, and they will definitely answer any questions regarding testing. Next slide, please. So the Federal Fair Housing Act is your protections, or what gives you your right to choose where you want to live. In 1968, after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., President Lyndon Johnson signed into place what is known as the Fair Housing Act. And again, it basically gives all of us our rights to choose where we want to live. The only thing with that is that we need to be able to afford where we want to live. So hopefully, you know, that makes sense. Now, the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in a lot of housing related transactions, such as sales, rentals, lending, insurance, and advertising, based on certain protected classes. Next slide, please. The 7 federal protections, or those protected classes, include race, color, national origin, sex, religion, familial status, and disability. Those are all the federal protections. That means you cannot be treated unfairly in housing or denied housing based on any of those. State of Florida has HIV status and pregnancy as its 2 statewide protections. And then Broward County has a lot of local protections. There's age, being a victim of domestic violence, gender expression or identity, marital status, political affiliation, sexual orientation, lawful source of income, veteran or service member status, and then victims of human trafficking. So there are a lot of local protections as well as the statewide and the federal protections which are reasons that you cannot be denied housing. Okay, it's illegal for them to deny you housing based on any of the protections that I just mentioned. Next slide, please. There are, however, reasons that you can be disqualified for housing. Okay, so there's a difference between discrimination and disqualification. So there are certain business criteria that housing providers use or are supposed to be using in order to say that yes, you qualify or you don't qualify for the purchase or rental of a property. Now, the first reason that you can be denied is your credit score. It makes sense. Credit is used for everything, and everyone's going to have a minimum credit score that you're going to need to meet in order to qualify to live there. The second reason you can be denied is your income. Now, not your source of income, which is a protection within Dade and Broward County, but how much money you make. The third reason is criminal background. So any felony convictions can be a reason that you are denied. Fourth reason is history of evictions, which pretty much self-explanatory. And then the last reason is references. So like, again, mainly for renters, obviously, but a potential landlord could call your previous or current landlord and find out how you were as a tenant. And based on their references, again, things that are legitimate and that would be backed up in your file, those can be reasons that you are denied the housing. Next slide, please. Disability complaints are very high in number, so there are additional protections awarded to those with disabilities. There's reasonable modification and reasonable accommodation. Reasonable modification deals with structural changes within the unit or on the property for that person with the disability. So installing grab bars in the shower, a ramp from the parking lot up onto the sidewalk. Those are examples of reasonable modifications. And the person requesting the modification is the person responsible for paying for said modification. So I want you to remember that as well. Now, reasonable accommodations deal with policy changes or rules. So for example, you purchase a condo. Condos have assigned parking spaces. A person with a disability who perhaps has an issue breathing or maybe an issue walking wouldn't want their parking space to be way down by another building and them having to walk far to get to their building, to get to their unit. So them requesting a closer assigned parking spot is an example of a reasonable accommodation request. Now, there's not necessary to put your requests in writing, but best practice is to get these things obviously in writing. That way you have documentation of what you asked for, who you spoke to when you spoke to them, and if they denied you, then you have the reason why they denied you as well, and then you could move forward from there. Next slide, please. Now I want to get into shortly or quickly, excuse me, predatory lending. Predatory lenders are not always just loan officers, bankers, mortgage brokers, etc. Predatory lenders can be anyone that is going to provide you with an item or a service and have you sign a contract agreeing to pay for said item or service either in monthly installment payments or paid in full at a later date. So for example, contractors can be predatory lenders. They'll come out, they'll do work on your home, $10,000 to $15,000 worth of work. You don't have $10,000 to $15,000 just laying around, so that you sign a contract with them agreeing to pay them X amount of dollars monthly. Somewhere down the line, you miss a payment and they own your home. That is because of predatory lending. There was something predatory in that contract that either you missed or you didn't understand, and they definitely, obviously, did not explain it to you because they don't want you to know. And then that's the reason how they could end up owning your home. All right, next slide, please. But in this case, we are talking about loan officers, bankers, mortgage brokers, etc. The folks that you are filling out this application with for this loan for the mortgage. Predatory lenders can be very high pressured salesmen and women. They can act like they're your only hope, excuse me, to get into a home. They can try and fast talk you into signing documents that you haven't read. I know I am speaking pretty quickly right now, but I want to make sure that I get all the information into the time that I have and leave some time for questions. I guarantee you that I am not a predatory lender. I have no money to lend anyone, but these are the things that you want to make sure you are paying attention to. So from your application all the way up to your closing documents, you need to make sure that you are reading everything. Please remember that these documents are legally binding documents, and your signature means that you've read it, you understand it, and you agree to it. Okay, and if you don't understand something, ask them the questions. If they're not willing to answer those questions for you, then you may have to find another lender to work with. All right. Don't fall for, ooh, no credit, no problem, bad credit, no problem, because they're lying to you. Your credit is an issue. Again, it is a reason that you can be denied, and you want to make sure that you get your credit to where it needs to be. Also, if it sounds too good to be true, guess what? It probably is. Okay, so you want to make sure that, yes, you understand what you're getting into, that you're signing everything that's important, that you've read before you sign it, that you understand before you sign it, and don't let anyone tell you that it's okay to lie on your application, because it's not. That's against the law, and if you get caught, you will be fined or actually put in prison, either one or both. You know, so don't let anybody tell you that it's okay to say that you make X amount of dollars so that you qualify for something, or you don't make X amount of dollars so that you qualify for something. Okay, next slide, please. This is our contact information. Again, I know I went through a lot in a short period of time, but if you guys do have questions for us, if you think you may be a victim of housing discrimination, if it's happening to you with the realtor you're working with or the lender that you're working with, whatever it may be, you definitely can give us a call. If you would like more information on our organization, you can check out our website. The things that I've discussed, that information is on there if you can't remember, or in case you missed something, but definitely check out our information, and we are here if you need us. And always, as always, put your questions in the Q&A and we will definitely get those answered for you. Thank you. I'm all done. Back to you. Oops.
All right, now we will have Wilma giving us some information on the Family Success program through Broward County.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this presentation and, you know, just making use of all the information that is available out there, you know, to communities. As far as the financial capability program goes, I am a financial coach. I'm located in the Coral Springs office, and we do have coaches in 3 other locations. And we'll see that towards the end of the presentation where the coaches are located. Now, the program started around 2018, and it was the brainchild of one of the commissioners who was looking at the community at large, and you know, just thinking that the community wasn't financially savvy as it could be. So that's how this program came about. So we have developed the program over the years. It was a blank canvas. Hey, this is the thought that we have. What can you do about it? All right. Next slide, please. All right, so throughout the program, as a participant of the program, we're going to be looking at some of the knowledge that you as a participant have, some of the knowledge that the coach has, and we're working towards a goal that you have. So we're looking at your, you know, what you know already, what you may have been doing, and trying to enhance those or make some change, help you make some changes. We're looking at the skills that you possess that you might not know how to apply it, you know, towards your financial success. So we're taking what you have and again, what the coaches have. We're looking at access, and with access, we're for the the Family Success Administration Division, there are several programs within our division. So as we're coaching, you may say, you know what, I'm behind with my rent at this time, or with my mortgage. So we're going to be looking at possibly referring you to the Emergency Assistance Program. There's also the CSBG program, where it covers tuition and childcare services, or LIHEAP, where it covers the electric if you're behind with that. And one of the biggest things in our program is actually your actions. So with our program, you're required to do some stuff. You're going to be required to do some homework throughout the program. So with the knowledge, the skills, the access, and your actions, then we're able to move forward and achieve your, help you to achieve your financial health. Next slide, please. All right, so as a coach, we're doing one-on-one coaching sessions with you. We're doing financial educational workshops, and we do have several that we'll go into. So as a participant, once you come into the program, the first thing that we actually do with you is a budget, because one of the things we want to do is make sure you have that sustainable budget so you can save towards your goal. And I will go into a little bit more details of the different saving tracks that we have available. Next slide, please. All right, so the workshops that we offer at this time, we have our budgeting workshop. And as I said before, this is kind of the basis of the program, where we're teaching you how to develop that sustainable budget and to include that saving component. And I know with the city's first-time home buyer program, you got to come up with some funds on your own. So we're going to be including that saving portion in the budget. So the budgeting workshop will go into a lot of details about what's going on there to help you to develop that sustainable budget. Or saving workshop tips. We're giving you tips on saving. The banking workshop. Unfortunately, there are quite a few unbanked persons in our community, so we're going to be going through some things, referring you to the bank. The banks that will offer, lower interest rates, or sorry, not lower interest rates. Nobody wants lower interest rates, lower fees. The types of accounts that can take care of that. For the credit workshop, we're looking at how to help you to improve or establish your credit. Asset building workshop, looking at some of the things that are, the right time to make sure that you're building your asset, and decreasing debt. Workshop, who doesn't want to decrease their debt, right? So we're going to look at some strategies to do that, as well as for increasing your income. Now, we do have our steps to purchasing a home workshop as well, and that will go into a little bit more details of, what you need to look out for, the documents that you need to be aware of. And for our vehicle purchase workshop, like Charmin mentioned, there are predatory lenders, and you get pressured into buying a certain car or leaving the lot with a vehicle that you really didn't want to purchase or can't afford to purchase. So we're going to be looking at some tips that will help you to navigate all the too good to be true deals that the dealership might have. And then we have the identity theft workshop, which is going to go into some details about, what to do to prevent identity theft. All right, next slide, please. All right, so the caveat to the financial capability program is there is a match saving component, and this is geared towards low and moderate income savers. Now, this is possibly where most folks are interested in, what goals are available, what you can save, and what the match saving component is gonna be. Next slide, please. All right, so currently, for a participation in the match saving component of the program, now, to participate in the financial capability program itself, there is no income guideline. But for the match saving components, these are the guidelines that are available. And let me just say, this might be the last time that you see these numbers, because that percentage is going to move from 300% to 400%, and that should be effective April 1. It's not signed yet on the dotted line, however, it is coming. So the household income currently is at 300% of the federal poverty level, and that is going to be moving to 400%. So for instance, a family of one, the minimum is right around 54,000 now, with the new numbers as versus this 38,640. Next slide, please. All right, so the match saving component, and for this portion of our program, this will always be a third party payout. So once you have saved your towards your goal, and currently it's at 3 to 18 months in which you have to save your goal. So how does translate for and especially if you're going into purchase through the city of Tamarack? You want to make sure that you have gotten this portion out of the way, because this is not like an immediate funding. Again, the crux of the program is to help you to save and develop the habit of saving. So it's going to be a while, and your saving amount is always going to be dependent on what your budget reflects. So your budget will need to have a surplus, and depending on what that surplus is will determine how much you're going to be able to save per month. And you have, again, that 3 to 18 months in which to save towards your goal. And so specifically for the first time home purchase, you would need to save that $2,000 in that 3 to 18 months. The county matches you $4,000. So at the time of closing is when you would receive that $4,000. So the check would be made out to possibly the city of Tamarack or the title company that is, working with you to close for the closing, or a law firm that might be handling the purchase. Okay, so with the increase though, for a home purchase, the saving goal is actually moving up to $3,000. So you have that minimum of 3 months to save that $3,000. However, the payout, the match amount is now going to be $25,000. So in essence, the $3,000 that you save and the $25,000 that the county is going to match, that is going to give you $28,000 that you're bringing to the table at that point. Now, specifically with home purchase, one of the little stipulations in there is that there cannot be any cash going back to you as a buyer. Okay, so make sure whatever happens from the purchase price to whatever deposits that you have already put in, and when you come to the table for closing, then just to make sure that there's no funds coming back to you. Okay, and just for the other saving goals that we have, the general saving, this one is the only one that is going to be paid directly to you. So if you save your $500 within the program, then you're going to be matched at $125. And I'm just looking at the list with the new numbers. And for the saving incentive, you save $500 with the new numbers, you're going to be matched $500. And again, the check is going to be made out directly to you. But every other component that is available here, every other saving goal is always going to be a third party payout. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so the requirements of the program: you have to be a current Broward County resident and be at least 18 years of age, and you've got to have that unwavering commitment to achieving your financial goals. Because remember, it's all about the actions, that we're looking at to make sure that you're determined to reach your goal. We're going to be your best cheerleader, just to ensure that you reach the goals that you set out for yourself. The other thing is you're going to need to maintain a monthly communication with your financial coach. We do meet one-on-one via Zoom at this point, or over the telephone, the coaching sessions. Pre-COVID, we were operating in person in our offices and doing live presentations, but due to COVID, we're all on the virtual platform at this time. All right, and throughout the program, you're going to attend at least 2 of the financial educational workshops. We're doing those virtual as well, and those were mentioned in the slides previously. Okay, and we ask that you provide whatever documentation. So depending on the goal that you're pursuing, the documentations that are going to be required outside of a checklist that you're given. So we just ask that, just be reminded this is a government organization, and we do need to make sure our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. All right, next slide, please. All right, so the next steps would be to call a financial coach for information about our orientations. We do have those. Generally, we have at least 4 per month, along with our workshop. Now, for the month of April, we are not scheduling workshops or orientations. We're going to be focused on a conference that is coming up, and I'll give you a little bit more information on that as well. This is our web information here that you can go to the website and just register for the next available orientation. For the current period, we have only one left for this month, and I will actually post the link to register if anyone is interested. I'll post it in the chat so that can be made available for that specific orientation. All right, next slide, please. All right, and these are our locations. Like I said, there are 4 coaches available. Myself in the Coral Springs location, Ms. Lotz, who is out over at South. And if you're familiar with the library, the Cava Ranches Library, we're located right on that property. For the Pompano location, Mr. Laguerre is the coach there, and that's at the Ann Weaver Health Center, where that is located, where we share property there. And for the central location where Ms. Arbiza works from, we're located at the Mills Multipurpose Center, which is pretty close to the swap shop. Next slide, please. Now, a little information about the upcoming conference for Financial Literacy Month, which is April. Last year, we conducted a virtual conference. It was 12 days total, but this year we're actually only doing 1 week or 4 days of conference. We're calling it the Financial Playbook. And with that, we're bringing in industry leaders on various topics that we want to present on. The conference is where there's going to be scheduled 12 o'clock each day. That's Monday through Thursday, and at 5:30. So it's going to be 8 conferences, and we're looking at, one of the conferences named Equity is the Finish Line. This is talking about, the diversity that is happening in Broward County and how that, shapes out for a community. We're ending with the conference Leaving a Legacy. And I know there's a lot of folks that, want to make sure that they're doing something for the next generation. So that's a little bit of information about the Financial Capability Virtual Conference. All right. Noteworthy is the home ownership. I mean, you guys, as much information that you can get regarding owning your home, please take advantage of that. All right, next slide, please. Now, if you do have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the chat. And again, I'll post the registration link for the orientation for anyone who is wishing to participate in the Financial Capability Program. And the orientation will go through all the details of how the program works. Okay, and thank you so much. And I hand over to Cassie.
All right. Well, this is Carolyn. We're gonna have Bonnie Bonato from Chase to give us some information about the program that they have. So Bonnie? Bonnie, can you hear us?
Yes, could you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, City of Tamarack, Wilma, Charmaine. Fantastic information. Really great to hear all about the programs that we have available. So again, thank you to the City of Tamarack for inviting Chase to the event today. At Chase, we also offer home buyer workshops. I will share my information that's on the slide here today, and just jot it down. My telephone number and my email address are right here on the slide. So please reach out to me if you'd like to join one of our home buyer workshops. We have one every month. In Tamarack, which is really near and dear to me, we have branches that I cover. I am the Lending Development Officer for Chase. We have 2 branches in Tamarack, one on Commercial and 64th and one on Southgate and Pine Island. But please feel free to contact me directly, and I will be able to get you exactly to the right place you need to be. Well, listen, I only have one slide, but this slide is worth $5,000. How exciting is that? Actually, I have 2 slides. The second slide is disclosures, but I can get you a copy of this flyer. Again, if you reach out to me, I'll be glad to share it with you. So our Chase Homebuyer Grant is a benefit that we have to help customers lower the mortgage costs and reduce the amount that you'll be paying at closing. Chase has a $30 billion commitment. We are taking action to increase equity, affordability, and access to housing for affordable lending, originating loans throughout the country, creating financial wealth and preservation of wealth for our underserved communities as well. So we want you to know that we have a very strong commitment to home lending. So these funds don't run out. And so if you apply, you know, we saw at the beginning of the presentation there were a certain number of slots, but don't fret, because if you think about it, lenders like Chase, we have a program where you could put, if you're a veteran, thank you for your service, you could put 0% down. But if you're not a veteran, you could put as little as 3% down. And if you think about a $300,000 house, that's under the requirement for the maximum purchase price that we talked about earlier. If you were to put down 3% on a $300,000 house, even if you didn't get these grant funds, which are fabulous, so, you know, complete your paperwork as quickly as possible. But if you didn't, and you buy a $300,000 house and you have to put down 3%, that's $9,000. If Chase is giving $5,000, that means you only need $4,000 for your portion of the down payment, which is really a fabulous program that we have. Earlier in the presentation, they talked about being ready, you know, getting all your paperwork. What does that mean? It means that you have to go to a lender, get conditionally approved, that you've submitted your income documentation, your asset documentation, you've applied for a pre-qualification, and we do that at Chase for no charge. So whether or not you get to use the grant funds from the City of Tamarack or from our other partners here on this call, or you get the Chase Homebuyer Grant, and I've checked, in Tamarack, a majority of the city is eligible for $5,000. We do have other grants for less, for $2,500. If you want to find out the grant eligibility for a specific property, please let me know. And you heard me just say a specific property. It is property connected, okay? It's not related to the customer, it's related to the location of the property. So let's talk about what is the Chase Homebuyer Grant and how do you qualify. We offer either $2,500 or $5,000 available on our proprietary Dreammaker program, standard agency lending, FHA and VA products when it is a purchase of a primary residence where it's located in an eligible census tract. The grant can be used towards points, closing costs, or other down payment. So I know that was a lot, right, just to start off with. But if you want to own a home, we are here to help. Our grant provides you with the $5,000 to buy down the interest rate of your new mortgage, reduce your closing costs, or apply towards down payment on the Dreammaker or standard agency. To qualify for the Home Buyer Grant, the home, again, must be your primary residence and located in select areas around the country. So I know that was short, but it's important that you understand we're here to help as well. We heard great information today from our other presenters. I hope that you find this $5,000 of interest to you, and whether or not you're able to get the Tamarack, City of Tamarack or other partners here, the funds there. Our funds won't run out, so come and see us, get mortgage ready, and we look forward to helping you on your journey to buy your new home. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll turn it back to our host.
All right, so now we're gonna have some information from Sandra. She represents Consolidated Credit, and she's gonna share some information with you.
Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us here today. Again, yes, my name is Sandra Tobon, and I represent Consolidated Credit. You can visit at www.consolidatedcredit.org. Next slide, please. So, who we are. Consolidated Credit Solutions is a HUD-approved nonprofit agency with the mission to assist families in ending the financial crisis and solving money management problems through education and professional counseling. Next slide, please. Consolidated Credit has undertaken the social responsibility of educating our community. Our educational programs provide financial literacy education to individuals and families in Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach. Our financial literacy programs attempt to bring more people to the higher level of financial health and to end the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. How we do that? Providing financial education, providing seminars, webinars. We have financial publications. We also create tailored programs for all nonprofit organizations in the Tri-County area. We also have a wonderful source of online financial resources. And of course, we help people that are in problems with the credit cards with our debt management program. Next slide, please. When you visit our website, you're going to be able to register to participate in any of our free monthly webinars. And these are only some of the topics that you can listen to from the comfort of your home, from your phone, from your house, whatever you are. Just click on them and you're going to have access to all this information. Next slide, please. We understand that this education has to start early on, and that is the reason why we also are present in our schools. We go to the middle schools, we go to high schools, and we teach our kids about banking, budgeting, and credit, because credit is one of the most important tools they need to learn early on to be able to achieve their goals, their financial goals. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a very important program that I want to talk to you about. It's a small business, and we have two cohorts of the small business throughout the year. This specific cohort is about to end, and the last session is going to be April 5th. If you are interested in know more about this program, later on, you're going to have my contact information. Send me an email, please, so we can send the registration link for the next cohort. On the small business, it is a very comprehensive class. We are going to teach you everything that you need to know about business plan, accounting, insurance, credit, because we want you to remember that your personal credit is the one who is going to you're going to use for your small business. So you really need to know how to take care of your credit if you're thinking about to start a small business. Thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our HUD certified team provides counseling, group, and education to the following services: pre-purchase or first-time home buyers, post-purchase education foreclosure prevention, reverse mortgage, and rental counseling. But we are here today to talk about the first-time homebuyer program. So as a nonprofit organization, as a HUD-approved agency, we have a very comprehensive program. The first step in our program is for you to join the Pathway to Homeownership orientation. It's on a monthly basis. The next date that we're going to have the orientation is April 27th, and it's from 6 p.m. to 7:15. And on that orientation, you're going to hear from us what are the steps in the program. You have heard from many people today a lot about what is it that you need to buy a home. And it's, as you can see, it's not an easy process. So we want to help you in this education. We want to provide all the steps that you need. We want to help you to create a budget. We want to help you to take a look at your credit. What is your credit today? And what is it that you need to do to change and to improve that credit so you can obtain the best interest rate when you present yourself into lenders like Chase, for example. So take a look at the information that we have here. You can actually take your phone today and click the QR code that you see in the screen so you can register. But if you cannot do that right now, the email address that you see is nromo@consolidatedcredit.org. She will be the person that you need to contact if you want to be part of the orientation. Next slide, please. Questions? For more information, feel free to contact me directly. You can email at www.consolidatedcredit.org, or you can call me directly, 954-377-9451. Thank you for being with us today. Okay, Cassie, it's all yours.
All right, this concludes the information that we have to present to you today. We are busy in the chat trying to answer as many questions as possible. So continue to enter your questions. We are going to get to all of them. The team is trying to answer as many as possible. So please just be patient with us. But one of the most frequent questions that I see is about the process and the contract. So for us to provide you with assistance, you have to have that contract. Okay, so on April 18th, you don't have to have a contract on that day. What you can do on that day is go on our website and add your name to the waiting list. To do that, you're not going to upload any kind of information at that point. You're just being added to the waiting list. You're going to provide us your basic contact information. And once you have the contract on the property, that means you already have your first mortgage commitment from your lender and the other things on the checklist that is placed on our website. So at that point, you're going to contact us once you have the contract and say, that may be a month down the road. You can say, hey, Carolyn, Nicola, Shakivia, I have a contract on a property in Tamarack now. And then at that point, we're going to give you instructions on all the different documentation that you need to upload for us. Another question is, how long does the process take? The entire process, the purchase process, I can't give you that because that's relative. Our process, because you're coming to us when a lot of the legwork is already done by you, you're just coming to us for a down payment and closing cost assistance, meaning you already have a contract, you've been working with a realtor and a lender, and you have all those things already in place. So once you provide all that information to us, we just have to do the income certification process to make sure that you're income eligible for the program, for the funder. So that should take between 3 and 4 weeks, as we went over at the beginning of the presentation. And keep in mind, there's a recording that's going to be posted on the website. I'm not sure how soon we can get it posted on the website. So this entire session is going to be posted on the website. You can go back, you can look at the presentation and the information there. And of course, you can always call our office to get additional questions answered. Okay, and we are continuing to answer your questions, but those were some of the most frequent that we noticed. Cassie, are we able to have our participants ask verbal questions without unmuting everyone?
No, they can only use the chat.
They can only use the chat? Okay.
Yeah, so we could ask their questions out loud that they put in the chat and answer that way. So everyone can hear, like for the most common questions probably.
Yeah, and that's what I try to do because I see that question a lot. So only the chat. One of the questions is, are we allowed to answer questions? Only in the chat. But if you need to speak to someone, like I said, you can always call our office.
We have questions published in the published section that are like most common questions.
Okay. Okay, one of the questions says, is this the home purchase assistance class? No, it is not. This is just an information session to inform you about the program, go over some general criteria, and also to give you some information like our guest speakers for today. The purchase assistance class is an education class. It teaches you about the home buying process. This is not doing that. This teaches you about, the education class teaches you about credit, and consumer credit. Sandra can speak to that because I believe they provide some home buyer education as well. This is a class that's, I guess, between 6 to 8 hours and has to be done by a HUD certified agency. So this is not the purchase assistance class. And that's one of the questions I see here in the chat. Go ahead, Sandra, you want to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify if someone has a question about the credit because they're in the process of buying a home, please give us a call. We have classes, we have a seminar coming on credit and savings for home ownership. So I would like to have them, if they call me and they contact me, I will be able to send the link for that coming webinar.
Okay. There's also a question, if you need to get a cosigner, will that disqualify you? Absolutely not. The cosigner, you would need to discuss that with your lender, your main lender, because that's probably going to be an issue with the first mortgage. Once you have your first mortgage commitment, you know, that's one of the major requirements for our program. It's just that the cosigner will need to be a part of your application.
Okay, I see a question here. It's does Tamarack offer funds the same time every year? Yes, our program opens every year the same time around springtime. Okay, another question. Can you purchase a duplex? So the answer is no, it must be a single family home, a townhome, or a condominium. What exactly does under contract mean? So under contract means that you have found a property, you put an offer on that property, the offer was accepted by the seller, and you have a fully executed sales contract. So that is under contract.
Okay, there's a question here that says, how can I participate in the matching savings program? I believe that's the one that Wilma discussed from Broward County.
Yeah.
Wilma, can you give?
Yes, I posted the web link for the orientation that is scheduled for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Otherwise, the new schedule is going to be up for May moving forward because we're not doing any of the regular orientations during the financial literacy month next month.
Okay, Cassie, can you go back to that slide that has the information for family success?
And they can definitely call any of our coaches, myself or any of the other coaches for the information, for additional information.
Hang on a second, we're trying to get the, okay.
If you would go to the slide with the coaches information. That has the phone numbers and email addresses. Thank you. Yes, perfect.
Okay, you can leave that up for a few so they can get that information. There's a, I guess this is a question. It says deposit must be in place before application is done. I can't see the rest of the question. A deposit, I guess that would be with the lender. Nicola, there's a comment. I don't know if it's a comment or a question. It says deposit must be in place before the application is done.
Deposit?
Yeah, I'm not sure what deposit is. Would that be with the a deposit that they do with the lender? What
They must be
the
referring
seller?
to their deposit, their earnest deposit that they have to put down when they sign the sales contract.
Okay. And that deposit is done with the lender,
With the realtor.
realtor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a question that says, what if you do not live in Broward County for the money saving program? Does Miami offer this? Well, I cannot speak for what's going on in Miami. You would have to contact, I guess, my city of Miami or Dade County. Not sure. Wilma, do you know if you have a Dade County counterpart to your program?
And to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right. There's a comment, they have assistance in Spanish. I don't speak much English. Okay, so for folks that have limited language access, you can contact our office and we can get a translator to assist you with your questions. So contact the office. Cassie, you can put up our slide with our contact information at the beginning. You can contact our office and we will get a translator.
Carolyn, our staff is fully bilingual as well. So if there are general questions, we might be able to help anyone that wants to do that. So if you want to share our information as well, we will
Can
be
you say
able
that
to
in
help.
Spanish?
Absolutely. Mi staff aquí en Consolidated Credit es completamente bilingüe. So, si ustedes quieren, perfectamente pueden comunicarse con nosotros y nosotros les ayudaremos en el proceso que necesiten. So, siéntase libre de llamarnos. I just say that in Spanish. So, if you want to share our contact information as well, that will be perfect. So, because we can help them with all the questions and with all the process, and then we can send them directly to you again. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I need to learn Spanish. Another question, may I get a copy of the presentation? Yes. It will be recorded and posted on our website. Not so much via email, because the recording, it may be too big to send via email, so it's on our website. And that's
You'll be
access
able
to all.
to, in their email, in their confirmation email, as well as the reminder email, the invitation link that's on those emails, they're able to access the replay right away if they, once we end this
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, great. So for folks that are registered, they can just go back to their confirmation email and the information is there again. Okay, great. Well, we have a lot of questions. Well, a lot of them are repetitive, so hopefully we've gotten to everyone. Another question about the 8-hour class. On the website, on our website, there are agencies listed. Those are not all the agencies. Those are only the ones we know about that offer the 8-hour or 6-hour homebuyer education. As long as it's a HUD approved agency, it is acceptable. We don't refer to any specific one. It just has to be HUD approved. Someone also had a question regarding the 15 years. Did you say no payment for 14 years to 15 years? I'm not sure I understand the question, but I think what they're trying to ask is, just to clarify, our lien is for 15 years. It's a deferred loan. You don't make any payments, that's fine. And we forgive it after the 15 years completely. So in year 14, we forgive 50%. So let's say in year 14, you're moving out of town, you have to sell your home. Half of what we assisted you with, you would need to repay to us in year 14. And then if you wait for the 15 years, then you're free and clear and you can sell your home, rent your home, do whatever. And we have no obligation, you have no obligation to us after 15 years. But up until year 14, the full amount is due. Let's say in year 10, you have to move or you want to rent out your property. In year 10, the entire amount of what we assisted you with will be due. Again, you can access the recording from your confirmation email. There's a replay option that will take you to the recording. Well, at least that's what Cassie told me, right, Cassie?
Yes.
Okay. More questions about programs done in Spanish? And again, you can contact our office and we can get you whatever you need in Spanish via translator, or like Sandra has graciously offered, her staff is fully bilingual and they can answer general questions. But for our specific program questions here in Tamarack, just contact our office and we will answer your questions in Spanish.
Carolyn, I don't know if you addressed this one already, but I see a few questions regarding whether or not this grant is restricted to Tamarack residents only.
Oh, yes, that's also no. Anyone can apply for the program as long as you are purchasing a home in Tamarack. So it's for purchasing. It's not only for residents, because you may live in Miami or you may live in Fort Lauderdale and you want to purchase a home in Tamarack, no problem. If you're income qualified and you're able to get a first mortgage and a contract on a home in Tamarack, we will assist you if we have funds available. Can grants be combined? That's also a few of the questions that I saw. It depends. If you're doing the family success program, and they're not requiring second position, I don't know, maybe Wilma can answer if it's a grant. Ours is a deferred loan. Even though you don't make payments, a lien is recorded against the property to secure our funds. So we will only take second position to the first mortgage lender. So any other funds that you're bringing to the table, as long as they will go after second position, we will still assist you if you qualify.
Yes, so for Broward County, the Financial Capability Program, once we show up with that check at closing, that's it. No strings attached. It's all over at the.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
At the table, yes, yes.
That's very nice. Well, ours has a string attached. We have a 15-year string, so we want to be in second place to your lender, your bank, or whoever is doing the first mortgage. So it can be combined, but it depends. So I guess each case will be different.
And also for the folks who are asking about Spanish, we do have Spanish coaches, financial coaches, and if necessary, the coach will do the translation for the program requirements.
Okay. There's a question, when will the link for the financial class be available? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a home buyer education class. But there's a link already on our website for agencies that we know of that are HUD approved that provide that class, if that's the question you're asking. Okay, okay, I'm seeing just duplicate questions. I don't know if there are any more questions. Okay, I think we are going to wrap up this session. Like I mentioned before, we are here to answer any questions. You can call our office, contact any of the presenters via their contact information that's in the slide, and you can go back to it. You can replay the recording. But thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great afternoon. Bye.